Welcome to episode 24 of Bono's Gamers. We are excited to have you here with us tonight. Oh my goodness. I'm hearing myself coming from somewhere. Yeah, let's mute that. Okay. Already got Kyle here in the chat. How's it going? Kyle, thanks for being here. And we have Jason with us tonight from The Construct. And Yugi 601 will be with us hopefully here shortly. Running a little late, I think, tonight. So, but we got some stuff to talk about, and hopefully, we're gonna have a fun time with it. I tell you what, Jason, I got a new Kirby shirt. I don't know if you can tell, but this is Kirby.
I didn't know that was new, but it's nice.
My wife found it on clearance for $3, and I said, I need that.
Even better. It's not every day you find a $3 Kirby shirt. So
yeah, it's really not. So I was like, I got to wear that for the podcast this week.
I love it.
I'm kind of excited about it. I wore it to work today, and
nice.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, we know Falcon Tactics. Sure do. Invited him to come tonight, and he was unavailable, and so were a few other people actually. Yako started a new day job. Ooh. And so he is adjusting to that and the YouTube life, and he's also in South Africa, so getting up at 3 a.m. to be with us is not exactly easy, especially when you have to work in the morning. And Jay Dunn was busy. They've been traveling and just working nonstop with a lot of the quest stuff going on. And who else? Zach is busy tonight as well. He had to meet a client tonight, and his wife is feeling kind of under the weather, so our prayers go out to Amy, his wife, for her to get better. And who else? I don't know. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. And Yugi's supposed to be here soon, so hopefully he pops on here real quick. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're glad that you all are with us tonight, and we're actually streaming on X tonight. I had been able to stream on X for a little while, couple months ago, and then they changed some policies and you couldn't do it anymore. But this is just a shameless self plug. I am on on X, and I just became a premium member, so I have a check mark by my name now.
Very nice.
Yeah. And I've been using, I don't know how you guys feel about AI, but I've been using their AI tool called Grok. And I think, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to say it. I think it's better than ChatGPT. I think it is higher quality, like more diverse language, more accurate information. It seems to be than using ChatGPT. I don't know, but
less hallucinations. It's not just making up stuff as much.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been fun over there. So we're over there tonight live and here on YouTube, obviously, as well. But Jason, how you been, man?
I've been good. Busy as well. Like you were saying about Jay Dunn, it's a big VR week this week. The embargo for all the 3S stuff just lifted, so now it's like all of the videos that you wanted to make because you knew it was coming out, now it's like go time. So I'll be pretty much making a video like every other day for about a week just to get through some of the content. But other than that, man, I'm not finding $3 Kirby shirts or anything, so it's pretty regular around here.
Well, maybe you will. Maybe you will. Who knows?
Fingers crossed.
Can we get a sneak peek of anything you're working on?
Well, yeah. So there's I don't know if I think they've announced this here. So there is a sports. See if I can get
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to talk about this.
Uh-huh.
This particular facial interface. It's There's a lot going on here that more than it just being like for like fitness. One of the things that I focused on early on my channel was like working in VR, and uh,
Mhm.
they've taken some steps on this and making it more comfortable, and particularly for like sports and working out. But there's some other opportunities here. There's some other facial interfaces that they have planned. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It's kind of a bummer that it's on the 3S because of the Fresnel lenses and the lower resolution screens. But
Uh-huh.
I am excited that they're like actually trying to make it more comfortable. I think
Is it
everybody puts on headsets and they're like, "Ouch, this hurts," and then they don't want to try it anymore, or they don't want to
they
actually give it a shot.
yeah. Is it not available for the 3, the regular 3?
Not that I'm aware of. Not now. No,
Huh.
that's
That's
just a
interesting. Well, I'm
yeah,
sure it
just
will
a
be
test. Yeah,
because
I'm hoping
I
so. Yeah.
it looks nice to me. Well, it just looks so much more breathable.
Yeah, yeah. So it's breathable, and then
Um,
on top of that, I just want to show this. This is actually pretty cool. It actually has some give.
okay.
There's
Yeah.
like there's kind of like a
So it kind of
springy
forms to your
mechanism.
face
Yeah,
a little
like
bit better.
yeah. So like if you're the strap that comes with the Quest, it's like a band. It's like a rubber band, and it just kind of mashes the headset to your
Uh-huh.
face. Or even the Elite straps. It's like you're just cranking this like vice and just squishing
Yeah.
your head in there.
Right, right, right.
So yeah, at least they know that it's not
Well, the
comfortable. You
it
know.
it it looks to me like it would make a better seal around your
Hmm.
temple area specifically,
Yeah.
the way that it springs like that. That's pretty
Exactly.
cool. I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah. Yeah.
realize that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just thought sometimes it gets hot in there and, like,
It
it just need
does.
a little air movement,
Little ventilation. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
No doubt.
I
No
was
doubt.
thinking that's what it would be good for, but
Yeah. Yeah. So it's exciting times, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to them kind of innovating more as it becomes more common, like dropping a lower price device like that. It'll raise a couple of more interest points to bring people in and make them more comfortable in VR. Very cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that is cool, man. That is cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Wild Falcon, Falcon Tactics has actually he started a new schooling program. He's going into cybersecurity, and so his YouTube stuff has kind of been put on kind of on hold, and that's why you haven't seen him much lately. Just so you know, man. Um, yeah, I did give Elon some some money, I guess. I think it probably mostly goes to the people he employs,
Right.
but yeah,
Which is now half now, so they'll get more, I guess.
yeah. Um, but I enjoy the platform, so I decided to take the plunge for a year and go premium. I don't know if I'll keep it, but it's there for
Now,
now.
do you like was there something you wanted to do that you were like price gated away from? Like I'm not even familiar with what comes with the check.
So there were a couple of things that I wanted to be able to do. One thing you can't do is you can't edit your posts
Oh
unless you're
yeah,
a premium user,
yeah.
and then you can't live stream to it. And I wanted to be able to live stream
Gotcha.
over there too. So those were the two big things. And then I was curious about the AI because that's behind the premium subscription as well. And I've used it for the last few days, and like I have really actually enjoyed it. I found it very helpful.
Nice.
So just as a research tool, I do a lot of research, and
Yeah.
sometimes one of the greatest things I think about AI as a tool is that it can gather a lot of information and condense it down in a summary form, and then I can go back through and read that and think and like logically think, okay, that all sounds correct, but
Right.
maybe this part's not. And I can dig on
Yeah. Yeah.
different
Yeah.
things more if I need to. But it's been pretty good
I
so far, and I'm not here to like plug it tonight. I just wanted people to know that I'm over there. You can follow me over there on X if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah. AI is cool, man. I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people feel a lot of different ways about it. I am like an old school like artist. I used to do graphic design. I used to do some charcoal and
Uh-huh.
art, just old school art, right? So for that kind of stuff, I do kind of feel weird about like everyone being so eager to replace people with
Yeah.
art. It's like I don't
Hmm.
know why everyone's so excited to do that. I mean, I don't know. I know like maybe if you weren't able to do art, it's nice to have a tool to get you there, and that's cool or whatever. But I still think I think the whole process of people creating art from their minds, with their
Yeah.
own hands, is actually the whole
Uh-huh.
point, right? So, um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So
we
that's
get
something I haven't tried out yet. I have not tried, like, you can request it to
yeah,
paint
like
you a picture of
prompting,
whatever or whatever,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I haven't done that yet. I don't know how well that works over there. I have tried that before. Well, even YouTube has a feature now where it will generate a thumbnail
hmm
for you. I
yeah.
think Canva has a tool like that now where it'll generate a thumbnail
It's
for you.
everywhere, man.
I've
Yeah.
tried those and they never look right. They never look good to me. So I've never used one like that. I kind of just make my own stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize you were an artist, Jason.
That's a well kept secret. It's one of those things that I
Man, we
think
let
we
it out of the bag here. This is
right.
a Phonos Gamers exclusive for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yes.
Breaking news.
Tell all, right? It's like Oprah or something. No, I'm kidding. But like I like most people, I could draw really well as a kid. And I say most people because we all think we can draw when we're kids, and then we kind of grow up and you kind of figure out what's good and what's not. But I was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I was pretty good. And it was just one of those things where I was like, I couldn't really figure out what to do with it. So I got into IT and I stopped drawing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my Peter Pan thing. I lost my fairy dust, and I
Mm,
just don't draw anymore. You know,
gotcha.
but yeah.
I we were talking before we went live. We were talking about COVID back in 2020, and
Mm,
because I was just recently sick, and I'm still kind of got a little cough, and my voice kind of comes and goes. So I'm sorry if I have to clear my throat tonight, but in 2020, when we were all stuck at home, I decided to use part of that time as an opportunity to finally sit down and watch Bob Ross on YouTube and try to follow him. Like I had like an iPad and I was like trying to draw what he
you're
was
trying to
drawing
make
on an
those happy
iPad.
trees, man. Those happy
And
trees.
yeah, I did a few of those and realized, if he weren't telling me what to do, I would have no idea what to do. But it was a cool experience because it's something I'd always wanted to do and never like made time to do. But since I was stuck, like, it's just like,
Right.
okay, let's just do it now. uh,
Yeah,
so
I think everyone, especially during lockdown, found out something new about themselves. Um,
yeah,
yeah, it was a time. I must say though, I like the fact that it was quiet.
yeah,
I
I
don't
did
like
too.
that the world was plagued by disease and people were suffering from that. That was the uncool part. But the
But
fact
the
that like
quiet part
everything,
was nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
the quiet, it was so quiet. Like everything was canceled. It was
yeah,
quiet. You could sit with your family and just like do nothing, and no one had to run away, and like no one had an appointment or something to like run to. Like you could just sit and
yeah.
like play a board game and then
Right,
finish
right.
the board game, and then nothing else was happening. You could just go get a sandwich. Like it was very very calm. you know
Yeah, yeah.
it's, it was nice. It was nice. Again, all things considered, that part was nice. Yeah.
So I had just moved, like about 3 weeks before everything got shut down,
Hmm.
and to like across the country, and didn't know anybody, and so it was very quiet for a couple of months for me, and
Hmm.
I was planning on like I was hoping to buy a house, um, but when we first moved, we didn't know like which part of the city to move to or move into or whatever. So we wanted to rent for a little while when we got here. And so we rented a house that was in the middle of a golf course, like in the middle of a par three that
Yeah.
was on the front side of the golf course, and then the back side was an actual golf course. Um, And it was not, it was like this really old house that the owners of the golf course were just like, "Oh, we'll just rent this out." Like it was like there were mice in it. When I
That's
say I lived
funny.
on a golf course, it sounds like it's a lot nicer than it
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
was, and
yeah,
it wasn't. It
yeah.
wasn't like some kind of. But the cool thing was that they were like, "Yeah, if you want to play the par three, just go out there whenever you want. You can play it. You don't
Yeah.
like." It was just like included in the rent of the house, and so there was no one. There was no one. Like everybody was just at home, and so
Yeah.
I would work all day, and then at the end of the day, I would just grab a couple of clubs and go out there. I'm not a good golfer, but
Hey,
I got my
yeah,
first ever birdie out there on the par three, and I felt pretty good about that. So,
there you go. There you go. Space and
uh,
opportunity. Things
yeah,
light up.
yeah, absolutely,
That's
yeah.
amazing. I
It
love
was
it.
a strange time, but there were good parts of it too, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Well, hey man, we're supposed to be talking about games,
I'm
so
sorry. Yeah, we went on one tangent and
we
it
sure
broke into
did.
four more. Yeah. Yeah. What have you been
But
playing lately, Bo?
it's all good. Me? Oh,
Yeah.
you know what I just started playing again was Halo Combat Evolved.
Ah, yes.
We
Yeah.
had that story about Halo Studios or 343 changing their name to Halo
Halo
Studios
Studios.
and going to Unreal Engine 5, and that just got me thinking about Halo. And there's rumors now that they're going to remake the original game
Hmm.
in Unreal Engine 5. And I thought, didn't they just do that? So I
Right.
went back to play it again. I played
Yeah.
through like maybe the first 4 levels so far. I'm definitely going to finish it. It's just
Okay.
still just a good game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Halo was really, it's funny because I didn't play a whole lot of Xbox. I was still like playing older systems and stuff. I was still like,
Uh,
playing Nintendo, or
64.
just, yeah, 64 games. I was playing Smash Brothers and stuff. Like I was still just kind of messing around. Wasn't playing a whole lot of uh Xbox. And a buddy of mine, back in college, I think he was like skipping class or something. I was walking, and he's like, hey man, he's like, where are you going? I was like, I think I have class over here. And he's like, I don't go to class. So we skipped class. He's like, do you play Halo? I was like, no. And he's like, let's go play some Halo. And we played like split screen multiplayer, and
Uh-huh.
he's just like messing with me the entire time. He's like, he's running around the map and throwing grenades at my
Right.
head and
Right.
stuff. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, but I wanted to get better. And like
Yeah.
the rest is history. I like it, that just kind of, it broke through, and I've been playing Halo ever since. It's basically my Xbox gateway game for the most part.
Yeah, for a lot of people it was. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the game to get on the original Xbox. That I
Yeah.
remember being. I want to ask you a question, but I'm going to tell this real quick. I remember being. I went to the mall, and I still had an N64 because this was like right when the Xbox first came out. But I was walking by. It might have been an EB Games before
EB
they got
games.
bought by
Yes.
GameStop.
Yeah.
And the kiosk, they had like the setup with the TV was in there, and I was walking by the store and I saw something real weird. I was like, is that a new James Bond game? Like, is that a new GoldenEye?
Yeah.
And then I had to go in, and I went in. I was like, no, this is like some kind of sci-fi game. What is this? It's gorgeous. Like
Yeah.
it looked next
Yeah.
gen, and
Yeah. The
because it
scale.
was.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and then eventually a friend of mine got it in the Xbox and Halo, and I went over to his house to play it. And this is my question for you. Did you have a hard time adjusting to dual sticks when that was new?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I mean, it's been so long. Like it literally was, PlayStation and Xbox that started that. Um, I'll tell you something that's crazy though. I see it now with people who try games for the first time. Like if you grab any random adult who
Yeah,
doesn't play video games, give them a
right.
controller, and that's the thing they have the most issue with is dual stick.
That's
Like
true. Yeah.
they can do sync. Like even one of my daughter's games, it's like Paw Patrol or something,
Uh-huh.
and it uses a one stick directional thing. Like it
Uh-huh.
doesn't do the second stick.
Is
Um,
it like one of the Grand Prix games? Paw Patrol Grand Prix
uh,
or something like that?
no, and it's like she just runs around and does like
Oh,
random
okay.
tasks. I don't know which
They have
ones
like
it
a
is.
Mario Kart type
Oh,
game
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
that I
No,
played once. They
yeah.
were good.
You gotta try it out first before you let your kids play.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so like I noticed they use the one stick mode on that one,
Uh,
because the whole idea of like moving your head and moving your character is just sometimes it's like hard to translate into your brain.
it's
Um,
such second nature to me at this point, right? I'm
yeah.
sure it is for you too, but then I was like I was hardcore into Perfect Dark and GoldenEye,
Hmm.
and I
Hmm.
was really good.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there was anyone at my school that could beat me. Like I was, and we didn't
Right.
have online. If we had had online, people could have beat me, sure. But the
Yeah.
people that I knew that we played together, like I was unstoppable.
Yeah.
And uh, but I like got good at using the one thumbstick with the C buttons
Yes, the C
on
buttons. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
N64 controller.
Yeah.
But moving to that two sticks was like
Yeah. It
almost
was weird.
impossible.
It was
It was
weird.
so strange.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
yeah, it took me a while.
our first taste of like 3D was like Mario 64. You just had
Which
the one
one
stick.
stick? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like you weren't really like, yeah, it just didn't compute. Now I do have this one issue that came from starting on Xbox, and it's the fact that I prefer offset analog sticks.
I do
Like,
too. Yeah.
yeah, my buddies who came up on PlayStation, they can't stand that the analog sticks are off like that. But
Yeah.
the D pad being so far away from the analog sticks on in PlayStation, it's frustrating to me. I just feel like
Mhm.
everything's in the right spot with the Xbox controller.
Yeah. 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 I agree with that. I can use either one, but I
Hmm.
prefer the asymmetrical sticks versus the symmetrical ones for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 If you can put your thumbs together and they meet, it's like no, this is not right. You put both analog sticks together. I
Well, I
can't do it.
think I don't. So, like, your right thumb is more or less in the same spot. Like, it's kind of the
Hmm.
same, but it's the left one that gets me.
Yeah,
Like, if I'm trying to just run forward,
yeah.
I run kind of cockeyed to the right a little bit on PlayStation
Right,
because
right, right.
of the way my thumb moves differently. Just it's a little weird.
Yeah,
Um, but
it was
but
like
they're both good at it.
The DualShock like 2 or so. The early ones, the analog sticks were big and they were kind of close together.
Huh.
Like the
Yeah,
first one, that was like the 2 or the first one, the first DualShock. But yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yep. Yeah, Zach would know if he were here. He'd know what it
Yeah.
was called.
Yeah.
Um, all right. What have you been playing? I feel like I've been playing
I
other stuff, but I don't remember what it is right now. So, what have you been
Yeah,
playing?
so it's really hard because I'm kind of like reviewing things and
Uh-huh.
you know, we have I have some access to some games that are coming out later this fall. One game that I did get to try is Metro Awakening VR.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So they have there was a demo at like Gamescom or whatever. So some folks still have access to that, and it's good. It's good. And Bo, I'm sorry to tell you, bud, you're not gonna like it. You're gonna hate
A
it.
lot of tunnels and flashlights?
Oh, it's all tunnels and flashlights, but
All tunnels and flashlights.
yeah, it's
Yeah, that's what I
literally
thought.
the theme of the game. And I was excited about it, but now like playing it, I'm like, what have I done? I mean, Metro is kind of freaky, like on a flat screen,
Uh-huh.
and it's like being in the dark with a gun and a flashlight that has a battery that dies eventually, and you have to crank it back up to like keep the flashlight on. And
Nope.
then there was like radioactive spiders jumping out, and
Ah,
I'm like, it was like I don't, I don't think this is going to be as fun as maybe I thought because it's like it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. I mean,
ah,
it's fun. I think
yeah.
one plus I'll say is that the graphics on standalone Quest aren't too realistic. so that kind of keeps you from like really freaking out,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like to be fair, I actually stopped playing Metro on flat screen a lot because of the same reasons. Like, it's the way the game is designed is brilliant, but it's just designed to stress you out. It just
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be. You have a limited amount of bullets, you have a couple of health syringes, you have a filter on your mask. So when you're outside or when you're above ground, you only have a limited amount of time that you can be out there.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to like navigate all these like thoughts about like your bullets and your time of air and all that while you actually fight things, and
Hmm.
it's just designed to be stressful. So yeah,
Yeah.
VR just makes it 10 times worse.
For sure. I'm sure that's true. I've never played any of those games.
Yeah,
Again, not like a huge fan of the horror genre, and
yeah,
that's I would categorize Metro as
yeah.
yeah.
Survival horror. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
It does look cool though. I mean,
yeah,
so the graphics are pretty good on Quest 3. I mean,
yeah.
how are they on Quest 3? You say they're not like hyper realistic.
It's not hyper realistic. It's like
So how do you think it turned out on there? If you
I
can talk
I
about it, I don't know.
yeah, I mean there's videos out there already of people doing
Okay.
walkthroughs, so it's all unembargoed, at least that build. And it's okay. Like, it's not I would put it like Xbox One graphics, maybe. Um
Okay.
Not series, but one,
Yeah.
where it's like it looks really good. So, and you can tell they've kind of like skipped a couple of things. So like the environment, the shelf with a teapot on it, the teapot's not really well pixelated or something. You know what I mean? Like, they've had to kind of dial it back so it all fits well on the headset. I don't know what the final build. This is like, early build. I don't know what the final build will look like. I think it'll probably be a little bit more polished than this build that I have access to. But I temper my expectations on Quest standalone. To be
Yeah.
honest, it's a mobile device. Like, I'm not really expecting it to like do PS5 stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
so I think it looks good. It's good enough to be immersive. I did flinch a couple of times when things just kind of like I said, Bo, you'd hate this game, man. Like, they tend to let you walk past an area and then they'll spawn something behind you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
No,
it's
that's not
pretty.
fair. That's not
Yeah,
that's not
yeah,
fair. It's not
yeah.
realistic.
It's not. Well, and they try to make it realistic. Like, there'll be like a hole in the wall, right? There's just like a mangled hole in the wall. You walk into
Uh-huh.
a room and you'll pass that hole in the wall, and then something will come out of it.
Crawls out of it or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
So you can
Okay.
almost count on like having to turn around if you come into a room that you've never been into before. Just watch your back, pretty much, because you're gonna get attacked by something.
Oh man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. 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 So I'm still working through Half-Life, Alex.
yeah, man.
I
Yeah, you gotta
it's
hang in
slow
there.
but sure.
Are you out of the dark yet, though? Are you out of the dark? Is that
No,
at least?
right now I'm in like some kind of control room. I think there's a puzzle I need to solve to open a door.
Mm,
But I'm back underground. But I feel like
yikes.
I got to be close to being done with the underground parts.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
probably. It gets fun.
Um,
There's a good story in it. It's definitely worth a playthrough. Yeah, but yeah, it's a
I
bit spooky.
so I just bought a what do you call it? A cable, an Oculink, not an Oculink.
Oh, the Metalink
The Questlink
Link. Yeah,
cable.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't buy the branded one. I bought an off-brand one, but it seems high quality. It
yeah.
seems to work, but I don't think I have the settings dialed in right yet because I'm getting like it freezes sometimes, so like there's like
Yeah,
jitter to it, you know.
yeah, yeah.
And I think I only got it yesterday, so I was
Okay,
messing with it last night,
cool.
kind of late, and I didn't have a ton of time, but it did make a huge difference. I've gone from my PC being on Wi-Fi to now and using Steam Link, and that was like you could do it, but it didn't look great, to a Ethernet connection on my PC, and that looks a lot better. That made a huge difference. And now I'm trying to use this cable, and I did load up also Arkham VR, Batman Arkham VR, and it looks like so much better with the cable on Quest 3, but it had that weird jitter, so it was like honestly not playable. So I got to figure that out, and I don't know if it's the computer or the cable or a setting or what, but
I don't want to like, I'm not like pubbing my videos, but there's a video that I did. Have you used virtual desktop? Have you heard of that? It's an app.
Yes, I think I watched that video of yours.
Okay.
I have not used it. It's like, it's not free. I mean, it's
no,
like
it's not free. Yeah, it's $20. It's definitely. I mean, I know you're not like a primary VR gamer, but it's definitely worth it for any VR gamer for sure. It allows you to just tinker with every aspect of PC VR gaming. But yeah. So you get a Wi-Fi 6E or higher router, and the connection is just so fast between virtual desktop and the Quest. It's really nice, really nice. As long as your PC can handle the graphics of the game you're playing,
right?
Really, really nice, really nice.
Yeah. Well, I don't have like the beefiest PC ever or anything, but it seemed to be doing fine with Half-Life Alyx.
Should be good enough.
So I think it's probably good enough for most VR games, because that one's got a lot of detail.
Ambitious. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good stuff. I think I'm gonna like the cable. I just need a little more time to figure out if I'm doing something wrong or what I'm doing that's wrong. And if not,
could also be your the speed of your USB connections on your rig that makes a difference.
I checked that already, and I think that's I don't think that's the problem.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So hopefully I'll get it figured out. But what I didn't know was that I have I didn't realize there was like a whole different like
you had exactly. PC. There's the whole people don't know this. It's like
I had no idea.
Value of the Quest goes up like tenfold when you have a PC. Having that whole Oculus or Rift access. Yeah.
They had like, so I had Asgard's Wrath, the original one, which I didn't even know I had. It's just there waiting for me.
Yep. It's a great game. It's really good.
Yeah. I mean, I played the intro of that and it seemed fine. And then they had like some other ones free, like the middle part of Vader Immortal, Star Wars Vader Immortal was free. I just like claimed it and it like downloaded it, and it looked better than it does on the standalone a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit. And there was one other one, Lost Something 2.
Or was it Lone Echo? No, that's not.
Lone Echo 2. Maybe it was Lone Echo 2.
Yeah. Lone Echo and Lone Echo 2. I think
the first one wasn't free, but the second one right now at least was free. I just hit
go for it.
I just hit download and it just downloaded it.
It looked really cool. 1 and 2 are really good games. Really good games. It's like I
watched the trailer and I was like, this looks awesome.
Yeah. It's like a top tier. Like it's a AAA space exploration kind of blockbuster, kind of like it gives you that really, really full AAA feel. Like by the time you finish the game, you kind of have those like kind of like emotions, with the character. You kind of
tell from the trailer. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I haven't played 2 yet, but I finished 1 and it was great. Fantastic.
Yeah. 1 was like $20 or something, but 2 was just there. And I was like, okay.
All right. I'll take it.
I'll just take that one. Yeah. And I installed it. I haven't started it yet, but I installed it to check out later.
Yeah.
So I just had no idea that there was a whole different store and kind of like a whole different ecosystem, because the stuff I've bought on Quest 3, standalone wasn't available to me. Like I didn't have any owned games listed, but then there was this whole separate thing. So
Right.
that seemed kind of odd, but whatever. I mean,
Hey, more the merrier. Now, let me ask you a question though. So, as
yeah,
far as like, you know, what's a good game length for you? So here's the issue. Here,
game
I'll
length.
set this up. I'll set this up a little bit. So with VR, like games like Lone Echo or Lone Echo 2, I haven't played 2, but games like Lone Echo, they take a long time to finish because they are that full AAA experience. So you're talking probably, I don't know how long it is exactly, but let's just call the bottom, range 8 hours, right? It's probably more
Yeah.
like 15 hours or something like that.
Okay.
Um, but with VR, I'm having struggles. Like with Asgard's Wrath 2, I haven't finished it.
I haven't
Um,
either.
it's like only one I have finished is like Half-Life Alex, obviously, but playing that long in VR is harder to do than when you're just like in your comfy gaming chair, right? So,
Well,
um,
especially on Quest because the battery dies.
yeah, you got to get your
Yeah.
you
And
got to
it's
get
just
those
so
interchangeable battery straps or something. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's so much more physical too. Like it can actually be exhausting.
Yeah. I tweaked my
Like
shoulder playing Asgard's Wrath. I was like, ouch.
really?
I'm like hacking and like blocking and like I kind of like tweaked my shoulder.
I was
It
playing a
was
game.
exciting, but
Yeah, it's such a good game. It is an exciting game. I was playing a game called Gazzlers. Have
mm,
you seen that one?
I don't think I've seen that one.
You're on the back of a train that's going through this environment, and there's people, there's the Gazzlers. They're attacking you. They kind of look like minions
Okay.
from Despicable Me, except they're
Dazzlers.
red instead of yellow.
Okay.
But they're attacking you, and you have to like shoot them and take them down while you're on this train. But it comes in waves, and eventually you get to the end of the train track, right? So, but you're just like you can play it stationary in one spot,
Hmm.
but you basically at some point have to start dodging bullets. And so I can sit on the couch and play it,
Yeah,
but
but you have to.
I'm
Yeah.
leaning all the way over, like laying
Fantastic.
down on the couch sometimes, and like it is a core workout playing this
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
And even sitting on the couch for something like that is like I'm like sweating, like
yeah.
beads of sweat on my
That's
body.
That's
Uh,
fantastic, man. It's funny. It's funny you say that because VR, it's interesting. The whole point is physicality. That's the whole point. Like if you could do it sitting absolutely still, you might as well do it on flat, right? So
right.
it's
Yeah.
it's weird because that's why the Hitman game that just recently got launched on Quest did so poorly because they didn't take enough time to really make it a physical game. Like
Mm,
pressing a button to open a door is just not cool in VR. Like you
right.
gotta
Right.
let
Right.
me turn the doorknob, right?
Yeah.
It's certain things like that. So when a VR game is good, it's like you're going to move a lot. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I struggle. I mean, unless you're playing like Max Mustard or something, but
Which I
it's
also love.
I love that game. It's so
It's a
much
great
fun.
one.
The old platformer gamers in us all rejoiced, when we
Yeah.
saw Max Mustard. But
Yeah.
um,
It's a great game.
yeah,
Um, yeah. Yeah. It is such a different medium, and it's more versatile. It's a more
mhm.
versatile medium because I was thinking about this the other day because I've been doing the Les Mills Body Combat
Oh yes,
game. I bought that I just needed some exercise in my life. So I decided, you know what, I'm tired of feeling weak. I've just gotten really out of shape.
Mhm.
And part of it is because I have tendonitis in both my shoulders. And I've used that as an excuse for a long time. But my kids are getting bigger, and I just like my son likes to play baseball and catch and whatever
Yeah,
in the backyard, and I want to be able to play with him, and I couldn't. And
yeah.
so at least not for very long. I was like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of
Mhm,
living
mhm.
with this. So I was like, I need to get some exercise, some kind of routine in my life. And I decided to try that. And I can tell I'm stronger. And my shoulders are actually, they feel as better than they felt in a long time. Now I've only
Yeah,
been doing it for like 3 weeks, and or maybe 4 weeks, but one of those I was really sick during, so I didn't really do it that week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Um,
understand.
but I can already tell a difference. And but the crazy thing is that I couldn't do that on Xbox or PlayStation.
Exactly.
Like it's
Exactly.
just so different. But
Yeah.
there's there's stuff. It turns your workout into a game because you're like punching targets as they're flying at you and stuff, and
Yeah, yeah,
dodging
exactly.
stuff, and doing squats to get down under things that are passing over your head, and all of it like looks cool at the same time, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just really fun, you
It
know.
is. It is, man. I mean, I really had a hard time playing flat games because of that. Like I felt so lazy when I was playing the flat games because I was just, my butt's just planted on the couch. But I totally agree. I'm out of shape too. That's why I film all my videos from like the shoulders up because but I'm in terrible shape too, and I really am thinking about like really taking a deep dive into like fitness and using VR for that. I
Uh,
am subscribed to Supernatural. It's kind of like a everyone
yeah.
compares it to Beat Saber, but it's not. I mean, they do a better job than Beat Saber does. Like I've heard people say, "Oh, I could just play Beat Saber." It's like it's not really the same. Like they actually
Well,
do.
Beat Saber is a rhythm game, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's physical, but
yeah.
this is probably more tuned into like
Targeted
actually
to
working your body out, you
exactly,
know.
exactly. Yeah, they organize the rhythm stuff to actually like work different parts of your body. There's like knee rises and all that stuff. So, but yeah, like I hear you, man. Like my kids are getting big too, and it's we'll go out to a park or something, and like my daughter will run around in an open field for like 30 seconds, and I'm like, I don't know if I can keep up. you know, yeah, it's all bad,
Yeah.
it's all bad. So yeah, got to get my cardio back up for sure.
Yeah, I've been trying to make some lifestyle changes, and that's never easy to do, to get out of, you know, the poor habits you've gotten into, and getting into better ones, is
Yeah,
never easy, but I think it'll be worth it, um, in the long run. And I actually already think it's worth it. Like I said, I feel stronger. I can tell my core is stronger.
yeah,
Like sometimes even getting out of bed in the morning, I'd be like, oh, I gotta roll out of this bed. And now I'm like, you know what? I think I could sit up out of this bed.
right,
That's a
exactly.
difference. That's a
Yeah,
difference.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just baby steps, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Have you heard of the cat VR? Have you heard of that?
The
It's
cat?
um KAT VR. Can I share my screen? Can I do
You
that?
should be able to.
Hold on. Let me see if I can do that. Um Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Um let's do let me see if I can share my browser. All right, can you see that?
Yeah, hang on. I'm starting a poll. Actually, I'll just go ahead and throw it up there so you can talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, have you seen these?
The like the treadmill things.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
So
that what they
like
call them? VR
this
treadmills or something?
yeah, like this person here, she uses to lose weight. They actually have posted on here like, you know, this is what you do, or this is how many calories you can burn. Seated gaming 80 calories per hour, active gaming 390 calories per hour. So they're actually like
Huh.
marketing this as like a weight loss like option. It's pretty crazy. I'm not
Hmm.
sure. There's the zombies again. I'm
Well,
sorry,
see,
Bo.
I
There's
do
they're everywhere, man.
I they are. There's so many zombie games in VR. I'd have looked at this, not this specific one, but I've seen people using these. There's a couple of different companies making them.
Yeah,
And I've seen these and thought, would this cure the um the motion sickness that I sometimes experience when I'm having to use
yeah,
the joystick to move through a game?
Yeah, for sure.
If it teleports, I don't seem to get sick at all. But if I have to use the joystick to run around like I would in a normal game, I start to
Hmm.
get motion sickness after 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah,
And I usually have to just go ahead and stop. Um,
right.
so there's a
Yeah.
lot of games I can play and it doesn't bother me. I can play it for hours. And then there's some games that I'm just like, nah, I know I have 30 minutes. So I need to keep moving.
Right.
It's one reason why I haven't finished Asgard's Wrath 2 is because that's how you move in that game.
Yeah.
And I've wondered if moving my feet on one of these would that eliminate that?
They do advertise it as something that would help. Um,
Because I really do think it's partly the motion of like my head looks like I'm walking, but my feet don't feel it.
exactly.
My feet aren't actually moving.
Yeah, it's the same reason people get motion sickness on like boats. It's the same concept. Like the world is moving past your head, but your body's not doing anything. Um, they say if you put a fan on your body while you're playing VR, it actually helps with motion sickness because your brain will know that like you're not actually moving, like feeling the air on one side of your body kind of helps your brain out a little bit. I don't know.
Huh.
I haven't tried it. I don't actually get motion sickness. It'd be hard for me if I was in doing doing the type of content that I do, and I
Yeah.
get motion sickness. I actually don't get it, so I'm lucky.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's only for certain games, but
Yeah,
and like working, like sometimes I work in VR and
same.
that's totally fine. Like that doesn't bother me at all, but it's just those games where I'm pushing the stick forward to run
Mm-hmm.
and my
Yeah,
feet aren't moving.
yeah,
Those get to me for some reason
yeah, yeah.
after a little while. Yeah.
It has to be really fast for me to feel it. So like there's like a go-kart moment in like Bone Lab, and I was like, whoa, this is a lot. you know. Um,
Mm,
Driving a go-kart in VR is just like it was just way too fast. So
yeah. 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 I haven't tried any go-kart games.
yeah, I wouldn't
Um,
recommend if you get motion sickness, I wouldn't
I feel
recommend
like
it.
there's not like a great one yet, like a really good one.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm kind of waiting, but anyway. Well, hey, can I share a story with you?
absolutely.
We haven't talked about anything on the agenda yet, and we've been here for an hour. But this has been fun. I don't regret it at all. Um, but I do want to. I want to share this story that I saw the other day, and I think that it relates to VR, what we've been talking about. Um, I'm trying to share my screen now. You might have seen this. This happened on X again. I'm on X. You should follow me over there. Um, did you see this? Do you know this guy, Boz?
Yeah, like, it's hard
Yeah,
not to know him around the meta stuff. Yeah.
right. Um, he works at Meta, right? He's one of the big wigs, right?
Hmm.
Um, so he issued this apology, not issued, but that's the wrong word. But he just posted this apology like publicly. Said, "I'm glad you came back to check out Orion. I mentioned this in person, but I wanted to publicly apologize for my previous comments about your time at then Oculus. I'm sorry. After reading the recent tablet piece, I dug into some of the events that preceded my time when a different set of people who are no longer at the company were running the group. It turns out I was misinformed, but that's no excuse. And since I wasn't involved, I should never have said anything. I'm grateful for the impact you made at the company and in developing VR overall. Looking forward to showing you more of our work in the future." And he's talking to this guy. Do you know this guy?
Yeah, yeah. The Oculus founder.
I had never, like, I guess I had heard of this guy before way back when Oculus
Mhm.
started, but I didn't remember his name.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was reading about this guy, Palmer Luckey, and I guess he's some kind of genius, right?
Right.
He's got like he's made a
Yeah.
ton of money. He started in his parents' driveway in an RV. where he developed Oculus and then ended up, getting that started on Kickstarter and made a few million on Kickstarter, I guess, and then eventually ended up selling the company to Meta. And then I guess what happened, and maybe you know better than me, because I didn't quite understand this part, but I guess he donated some money to some kind of political organization or something, and because of who he donated to, he was fired from Meta, even though he was running, I guess at the time, running the Oculus program still.
Yep.
And so, and I guess after that, well, he says it down here. He says, somewhere, I think it's right here. Thanks, Boz. Apology accepted. I'm infamously good at holding grudges, but Meta has changed a lot over the past 8 years. The people responsible for my ouster and internal-external smear campaign aren't even around anymore. At some point, the ship of this Theseus has sailed, and so I guess there was a smear campaign against him. That tried to ruin his reputation. It just all sounds really bad to me. I read some of this article as well from this author, and just about some of the stuff that that he's done, and it just is kind of insane that you don't hear about this guy more often,
right?
Because of the things that, like, he has the world's largest video game collection, but he keeps it 200 feet underground in a decommissioned U.S. Air Force nuclear missile base.
Yeah, I heard that
he owns. That's nuts.
Yeah, Scrooge McDuck style, man.
Yeah, and he currently, like, I guess makes he has some kind of contract, military contract, where he's making stuff that's saving soldiers' lives, that's powered by AI. And that company's valued at $14 billion. So but he's done a bunch of other stuff too. He's had a bunch of different ventures, like really outside the box thinking from this guy. I'm just really shocked that I haven't heard of him before.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to, make a suit powered by unlimited energy,
Yeah, well, it kind of sounds like he wants to do something like that. But yeah. But this caught my eye, not because Palmer here has done so many crazy things, but it caught my eye because it's so rare. Like he said down here, it's rare for someone to demonstrate this sort of character. It's rare to see someone genuinely apologize, and to admit, hey, I was wrong. I was wrong about this, and I'm sorry for the part that I played. And then, for the other person to accept the apology and to seem like, almost like, hey, they came together and shook hands and I said, you know what, relationship restored, and it just, like, really caught me off guard, because again, it seems like it's just something we don't see often enough in society. And so something that I had said was about it, I just reposted it, but the exchange between these two is a great reminder to never underestimate the power of forgiveness. Love the wholesomeness of this moment. Let's all be more like this. And I mean, you know me, I was thinking about what would scripture say about this? What would the Bible say about this? What would Jesus say about this moment? And thinking about just all of the many verses about forgiveness and the power of forgiveness. And one story about forgiveness that Jesus tells is this one here, this parable. But at the beginning of it, Peter comes to Jesus and says, Lord, how many times must I forgive my brother and sister who sins against me? As many as 7 times? Like I feel like Peter in this moment is like, I'm being really generous here,
Right,
like
right. I'm
giving
trying.
7 times as many as, and
Yeah.
Jesus is like, no, I tell you, not as many as 7, but 70 times 7. And
Mhm.
his point there, I think, is that there is really actually no limit. Like, you
Right.
really shouldn't stop forgiving your brother and sister. You really
Yeah.
shouldn't stop forgiving your neighbor. Um, and hey, thanks for being here, Kyle. Uh, we'll see you later. Have a good night. You the and I think Jesus knows something that is a core truth of humanity, that when we can genuinely stop and forgive someone else, it it ends the destruction of the
Mhm.
sin
Mhm.
and starts to build a bridge back.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And and I give you like an example, sort of. It's sort of forgiveness adjacent, because this person didn't actually do anything to me, but there was this person that had been, I had felt like they were avoiding me, a person at work, uh, and I was kind of hurt and confused by it, and I was starting to get kind of bitter about it inside,
Mhm.
and just yesterday, I was thinking about it, and I just felt like the Lord said to me, "Why are you making this about you? Why are you making this about yourself? You've put yourself at the center of this situation, and you have no idea what's going on with that person. You don't even know if they have a problem with you."
Yeah,
And I
for
was
sure.
like, "Oh, you know what? That's true." And so I didn't really need to forgive them, but for lack of a better term, I forgave them. And I was like, you know what? I just need to pray for this person instead. And so I started praying for that person instead of allowing my thoughts to kind of spiral out of control that led to bitterness welling up inside of me. I put all that aside and prayed for them. And that began to nurture an affection for them inside of me instead. And and then literally later that day, they came to me and shared some stuff, and it's like God answered that prayer,
Wow.
and just like our relationship was restored. And it's
Yeah.
because, when you are feeling bitter or whatever towards a person, it's really hard on your end to be around them. It makes it harder
Yeah.
for you to you know build a bridge to them.
Right.
But when you are full of affection for them and understanding that what they're going through, you might not understand where they are or what they're going through. That allows you to better have a better relationship with them. And then it was just cool that they actually, I didn't go to them, I just prayed for them, and then they came to me later that day, and it turned out it had nothing to do with me at all. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
other things. And
yeah.
but forgiveness is just has so much restorative power.
It does.
And that's the fruit of forgiving someone, is that it restores things to life rather
Yeah,
than destruction. Yeah.
for sure, man. I'll share a similar story, because I feel like the lesson that that scripture is trying to tell us there is that there's work on both sides, right? So yes, those who've maybe you know done us wrong, they have to do better. That's one part of it. And then
Mhm.
we have a responsibility to forgive as well. And it only works
Yeah.
when both parties, do that. But I had just a really weird situation. I had a neighbor move in, and my wife and we were taking care of our kids. I think we only had one kid at that point, but had a lot going on that day. And the guy who across the street moved in, he walked over to our garage, and we had just gotten home from the doctor's office. There was a lot going on, and he came over across the street to introduce himself. And we weren't cruel to him or anything like that. Shook his hand, introduced ourselves, but it was just really, really, really bad time, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, but you can come over, have some pizza, yada yada yada," And me and my wife went in the house, and we had to deal with what we were dealing with that day, right? And we never went over there um, after being invited. And honestly, like, I felt bad about not going back over there, but I just had so much going on, right?
Right. Yeah.
And we would see our now new neighbor from time to time, but you could tell there was a little bit of like distance, or there was, there was some thickness there because of
Yeah.
how our first meeting went, right? And
Uh-huh.
I would say recently, it was probably like, a year ago at this point, but I saw him outside, and I just decided to, you know bridge that gap, like you said. And I said, "Hey, you got a second?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I told him about everything. I said, "Hey, when you came over like 2 years ago, that was really cool, and it wasn't about you. I just had a lot going on that day,
Yeah.
and I didn't have room for it." And I explained that, and he totally understood. But there was to your point, there was a lightness that kind of washed over both of us. And now, sometimes we do hang out outside and speak and talk and share stories, and
Yeah.
that whole heaviness is lifted because you know the effort was made. The effort was made on my and this was for him to forgive me, right? But it was still a situation where I had to, going back to the boss situation, where you say, "You know what, I didn't handle that so great.
Yeah.
Let me own up to that," right? So there's responsibility on both sides.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just saw that and I was like, "Oh, I gotta save that for the podcast because
It was appropriate.
that's
It's meta related too.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But it's just such a good story, like just a good example to see,
Yeah,
um, and I really do feel like we all just need to be a little bit more like that. Uh,
one
yeah,
hundred
and
percent.
sometimes that does mean that we got to be honest with people about the things that we're going through, so that they can understand, you know, that we're not trying to separate ourselves from them or whatever, but there are things that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because I think that does make a difference. Uh, yeah, very good, very good. Um, well, let's see. Let's get into the 3S. I had
Oh yeah.
pulled up stuff about about Xbox because I'm really concerned about Xbox. So, like, here's the 2-minute synopsis of is Xbox going to make it or not.
Yeah.
There had been a rumor, I guess, last week maybe about them pulling their consoles off store shelves in Saudi Arabia or like in the Middle East,
Hmm.
and leaving that market altogether, which I think
Hmm.
is really really hard to do because once you leave a market, it's almost impossible to get back into that market.
Right.
And if that's the direction that Xbox is going, and I feel like they've just lacked so much vision this generation. The messaging is so weird that, like, are they gonna make consoles or do they just want you to play on your Fire Stick TV? Like,
Yeah.
what is
Right.
going on with Xbox? Are they just all in on Game Pass and they're just gonna be a Game Pass company, or do they really want to make first party games and have a console in the console market? It's the messaging has been really scattered and not cohesive,
Yeah.
and I think that's caused their sales to plummet. In fact, their sales have dropped by almost half in the last 2 years since 2 years ago,
Hmm.
which is bad.
It
because
ain't good.
because they weren't great to begin with,
Right.
this
Right.
generation, and so I'm just concerned about them, and I'm really concerned for the industry as a whole because they are one of the major competitors, and if they pull out, then that really doesn't leave a lot of competition left, which I think is going to cause the industry to become even more stagnant than it already is right now.
Yeah.
So that's where I was going with all the Xbox stuff, or where I wanted to go with it. And even the stuff with Halo being all this rebranding and switching. I
Mhm.
think Unreal Engine 5 possibly could help with development, but
Yeah. So
I don't, I
let
don't
me
know.
comment on some of that, Bo.
Yeah, sure.
I share your concern, but I think something that's happened, and I'm sorry, I'm going to sound like the old guy at this point, but it's like we came away from like physical media a while back. We went to digital downloads, right? And now like this
Mhm.
seems like the next phase of that sort of thing, right? The problem is that you look at something like Xbox, and the majority of your player base grew up going to EB Games, or Funco Land was another one, if depending on where were in the US. But going to get a game or cartridge or disc, you know, and if that disc broke, you were out of luck. Like the amount of like emotional connection you had to that gaming experience. If you ever own the gold Zelda cartridge, you know how it feels. And that's where the majority of the player base came from. And I feel like Xbox is constantly taking this road away from that, going to
Mhm.
this like digital type of like distribution. And now they're looking, I feel like they're comparing their business models to that of like a Netflix, or or an Apple TV kind of like distribution model. Now it sounds great from a business perspective, right? But if you look at what it does to the actual players, the people who are actually there to play games, you take away some of the sentimental value of being connected to a crafted game. So now we have like big business making games that don't have physical media, that are broken when they launch,
Yeah.
and it just sucks the soul out of it. And
Yeah.
if they don't figure this out soon, like you said, they're going to lose the market
Well,
altogether.
they're losing all the goodwill of their fan bases
Right.
by continually releasing games that are broken or just not fun.
Right.
And
Yeah.
like and then they wonder why they're not meeting sales expectations. It's
Hmm.
because you're not treating your customer base the way you should be. Like
Yeah.
we are losing faith in you to do the right thing. And
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not okay. It's not okay, man. Because it's gonna if it hasn't already, it's going to impact the gamers to the point where they just don't care. And then you have a bigger challenge ahead of how do you make people care again. It's going to be
Right.
really hard, to
Yeah.
change their minds back. It's Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. And I think that's one reason why you're seeing so many people right now get into retro gaming
Hmm.
is because they remember a time when they enjoyed gaming and
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
like, I kind of want to go back to that.
I want to just do that again.
Um
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes and that's fine. Like I said, like I started playing Halo again the other night, and
Hmm.
I was enjoying it
Yeah.
because it's a good game. And
I think
who cares if I played it 20 times?
exactly. Exactly. I think I told you about this, and I play Half Life Alex all the time, different mods and whatnot. So I just keep like replaying that game. But um Half-Life 2 and Episode 1 and Episode 2, they have VR
Okay.
mods.
Okay.
And it's amazing. Like I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm getting to play Half-Life 2 and the expansions all over again in a completely new way. So I
Hmm.
have the slow paced, single player game of the days of old, but in a new format. And I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Really enjoying it.
Well, have you seen this footage of Halo and Unreal
Oh, I
Engine?
think I have. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now, when Zach was on, we were talking about them spending so much money making water look wet.
Yeah. 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 Um, I guess one of the pros of using Unreal Engine 5 is that a lot of developers that you might be hiring to make a new game are already going to be familiar with this.
Yeah.
And this is being, developed outside of your company and constantly being updated and upgraded. Um, so it should theoretically lead to quicker development times, and easier to hire people who are qualified to develop the game, rather than hiring somebody and then having to teach them slip space or whatever. I think that's what it was called.
Hmm.
Slipstream, slip space, slipstream. I
Substream,
can't
I think.
remember. Yeah,
I
slipstream. I think
yeah.
that's right. Whatever the Halo engine was that they were using.
Hmm.
Um, this is just going to be faster. And so part of me is like, okay, yeah, that's good. And then there's another part of me though that is concerned about this change, because it to me it almost makes it feel like we don't care enough to make our own engine anymore about Halo, so we're just going to use something that everybody else is using.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but there's a
Well,
part of me that's what I think. Like,
yeah. Well, yeah.
Halo doesn't matter to us anymore, so we're just going to use the easiest thing that we can find to use to make another Halo game.
So I tell you what.
Also, does he not look smaller than before?
They shrunk the energy sword.
I don't know. He looks tinier
He
than
looks.
before
He
to me.
looks. He looks shorter. Like
He
the.
does
Like
not.
the. Like
His
the.
torso looks compacted or something, and
Yeah.
or his neck looks
It.
shorter. Or I don't know,
Yeah.
but
I'm getting Gears of War vibes where he's a
he does
little.
not look as
He's a
menacing as
little.
he used to
Yeah.
look to me.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Anyway,
Maybe not.
this is
But
obviously a work in progress, so
yeah.
whatever.
Well, I'll give you. I'll give you one cup half full perspective on it, and that's if they aren't working on tech so much, if they're just like, we have Unreal Engine and we can
Yeah.
just run with that, they can get back to story. So
Yes.
maybe we will, get some really good
Which
Halo
they
lore.
desperately need to do.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what made Halo so incredible to begin with, in my opinion, was that there was so much mystery around this lore
Hmm.
about the ring, and who
Yep.
built it,
Yep.
and
The
why,
Covenant, the
what's
blood.
this little
Yeah.
floaty robot going around? What is he talking about?
Right.
And like and the Covenant, and how did they come together? And like all of this stuff,
Hmm.
it was so mysterious and intriguing. You wanted to consume that lore.
Yeah.
You wanted to
Yeah.
find out more, and they've just really gotten away from that. And
Yep.
hopefully they can capture it again. But who knows? And this game, the next game is probably not coming out this generation. I would not suspect. So it
I
could be a
don't think
long time before we see Halo again.
Yeah,
Um,
for
but
sure.
yeah. All right, man. Well, what about the Quest 3S came out today, and
Um,
you have one,
I do have
right?
one. I do have
You
one.
have
Yes.
one. You are lucky enough to have one. Now, did you just get it in like yesterday or today? Or
No, I've actually had it for a few weeks now.
really?
Yeah, yeah. It
Wow.
was embargoed until yesterday. So, but yeah, there it is. I know I popped this
Oh,
up a little bit earlier in the
yeah. Let me put you up here.
yeah. So
Here
yeah,
it is.
there it is in real life in the flesh, with the mesh, the new mesh. You can kind of see through it there
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. That's cool.
Um, yeah, it is see through though, which we were
Yeah.
talking
So that's
about.
the light in.
Yeah, we were talking about motion sickness. This
Uh-huh.
really could help with that because you could actually see the real world in your periphery. So,
Yeah.
you know,
But is that a little bit immersion breaking?
it is. It is. It's probably better for like working out or working in VR where you're just not necessarily wanting to be completely immersed. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But it does work. I've used it in like full on games because your brain kind of starts to forget about your periphery,
Right.
even though it's
Yeah.
there.
That makes sense.
You just kind of forget about it. Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, man, look at you, man. Look at this guy. Look at this guy right here. Mr. Big
The
Time
close up. Yeah.
got Quest 3S early, weeks early.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for being on here, being my friend. This is awesome. I think this has a lot of potential for to be a really big seller for them. I think there's a lot of like Quest 2 sold a lot.
Mhm.
And they need to get people to move up to Quest 3 so they can stop making Quest 2 games and really take advantage of the full power of the Quest 3 that what it has
Exactly.
to offer. And I think that this price point of $300 could really move the needle, and not even for like old customers of the Quest 2, but for new potential
Mhm.
customers as well. Because it, even though it's using some like the Fresnel lenses, it's a little bit, it's an older technology, but it can still work for people. And so I feel like they cut the right corners to get this at a
Absolutely.
price point that makes sense for a lot of consumers.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to see what happens with this. Uh, yeah. Do you have
And
any?
I tell you what, couple of things about it actually. So yes, it's a great move. I feel like they knew how great the Quest 2 was. It was one of those things where the
Mm,
price was at the right spot and it
right,
brought a
right.
lot of people into VR, and they thought to themselves, well, how can we just reignite that magic, right? Like especially like launching it now right before Christmas.
Yes.
How can we reignite that magic and get more people in the VR and let them see how cool it is now? And
Mm,
I'll say this: I was messing around earlier. My Quest 3 is like nearby as well. I was messing around and doing things on the 3S, and I accidentally picked up my 3. And yes, the 3S is a little bit fuzzier. The lenses are older, and it looks a little bit worse than the 3. But for a split second, I forgot which one I put on. So that's how good this one is. It's not that bad. I feel like you'll hear a lot of buzz online of people like complaining about that it's not as good as the Quest, the Quest regular, but it's not really for you. If you have the Quest 3, it's not really for you. It's for anybody who's trying to
right.
enter into the experience.
Yeah.
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 And it's
Well,
not bad.
I have a couple of questions. One is well, like you said, again, if you're buying this, for most people, you're not going to be comparing the two. You're either buying one or the other. But I am curious about the weight. Like, can you tell a difference weight wise
It's actually
between the two?
surprisingly, this one's about like a almost a gram lighter than the 3. Or it's it's bigger only because of the. Let me
The
see if I can show you
lenses.
this. Yeah, it's like I have a head
They're-
strap on this one, but there's so little
Right.
this is the 3, and it's just like it's not as much depth. So the inside of the 3S is hollow, so
Uh huh.
it's big, but it's not heavy. So like the Quest 3, it's a little flatter. That's trying to focus on my face. But yeah, it's a little flatter. But there's a lot more tech in there, the pancake lenses. So this looks huge, but it's actually like a slight hair lighter than the 3. So yeah, it's
Okay.
not bad at all. Yeah, it's just a little bit lighter than the 3.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Hmm. Um, my other question is about the pass through.
Yeah, the pass-through. Yeah.
The pass through on this thing. Do, does one look better than the other?
the
Like,
three
like,
the 3
like
does
color
look better.
wise and stuff.
The 3 does look better, but only by a shy margin because of resolution.
Uh-huh.
Um, it does not look that much different. Like I said, I almost forgot. I was actually using pass through earlier today, and I almost
Okay.
forgot which one I was on for a split second. That's how
Okay.
close they are. I said in a recent video, I explained it. It's like it's almost like when you look at a 1080p TV
Uh-huh.
and you don't really realize that it's worse than the 4K TV until you look at the 4K TV and you're like, oh, the 4K TV is a little bit sharper, right? Like
Right.
that's
Right.
how
Right. Right. Right.
marginal
Right.
the
Right.
difference is. So
Okay.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. There is the Fresnel lenses are finicky. It's not easy to get them right in the right place. But
Uh-huh.
I'm impressed, man. I think it's a great device, especially for somebody trying VR for the first time. It's an amazing device. You get that Apple Vision Pro type stuff, and I'm not paid to say any of this. I'm like, this is my genuine genuine response to this device. But you get that Apple Vision Pro deal, like you can move windows around and all the good stuff like you can with the 3, and it's only $299. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
solid deal, man.
No, yeah,
Compare that to
absolutely.
3,500 for the Apple Vision Pro.
Plus, yeah, you can still work in this headset.
Yeah.
Do like productivity stuff. You can do
Mhm.
entertainment stuff. It's not just about gaming. And and it comes with Batman Arkham Shadow,
There you go.
which is out
Yep.
next week. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And it comes with 3 months of Quest Plus subscription, doesn't it? I
Yep.
believe.
Yep.
And if you
Free 3 months.
use Jason's link or my link, you'll get $30
There you go.
in-store credit when you activate your headset.
Say it again.
So
Bo's link
if
will
you
be in the
use
description of this
you,
one.
I probably should put it in the description of this.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm sure you have links as well. They just invited me into the Quest affiliate program.
Awesome.
So I like feel really, really blessed to be a part of that now.
Congratulations.
And might be doing more VR content than I was, just because I feel like they've brought me into the club.
Yeah. The more the merrier.
So but yeah, $30 of store credit plus a game plus Quest Plus for 3 months, which is really like getting like about 18 games
Yeah.
for 3 months right off the bat. That's for $299. That's an incredible value.
It's really cool. Like I wish I was like 12 years old right now to receive something like this for like Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's an amazing deal, man.
And word on the street is the unboxing experience is so good. The Construct had to do it twice. He had to close it back up and do it again.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like all connected like that when I got it. I was like, oh, I like that. I put it back together. I actually folded it all the way back up. So I could.
Yeah. They kind of ruined the surprise here on the website.
Yeah, I purposefully
cool.
didn't look at it before I got mine. Yeah.
That's cool. Any other thoughts on the 3S?
I'm excited about it, just kind of relieving people of the burden of having to buy a $500 device. I'm looking forward to it. I will say this, kind of connecting two ideas. Batman Arkham Shadow looks amazing. Metro Awakening looks amazing. I do think the fact that it's a mobile device is a good thing, because I feel like if we're not careful, VR is going to take the road of the AAA catastrophe that flat screen gaming has gone through. And I think the fact that it's a mobile device, kids don't really care about graphics as much as we older guys do. I think this is a good opportunity for this to kind of like stay in a zone where games can just be fun, and it doesn't have to break ground and do all these things where you can see like pores on people's skin, and then we waste $2 million of budget and then we release a half-baked game because we spent so much time making the hair shiny, so I'm excited about it from that perspective, that we're gonna get more people in. People are okay that the games aren't PS5 graphic level. It's an exciting time. It
is. And I think if you're like a family and you're like, you got a couple of kids and you need to get one for each of them or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like now suddenly it's a more viable option. Like, not that $300 is cheap.
No, it's not cheap.
But it's a lot better than 500 plus. And you do get several things, software wise right out of the box. And so, yeah, I think it's an incredible value.
Yeah, they're just trying to put it in hands, which is kind of cool. There's even a pay as you go, which I'm not recommending anybody do it. Whenever you pay as you go, you end up paying more.
Yeah.
think that's clear that that's the
Yeah.
case.
Right.
But they're just trying to make sure there's ways for people to experience it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, very, very cool. I guess it's about the end of the show, man. Tell us where we can find you and remind us what you're working on real quick.
Yeah, well, lots of Quest 3S content over the next like week or so, but you can find me on YouTube, the construct underscore VR. I think I had to use an underscore and add VR to it, but you can find me, the construct, on YouTube. I am opening up my socials soon. Still haven't done that. Congratulations to you, Bo, for getting Twitter going. I'm sorry, X
Thank you.
going. But lots of VR and mixed reality stuff on my channel coming up for sure. Exciting stuff coming.
Very cool. Are you going to be covering Arkham Shadow?
Of course,
at all?
of course. Arkham Shadow, Arizona Sunshine 2, and
Do a remake.
And well, both. I'm sorry, yeah, remake. But I actually haven't played 2 yet, so I might actually start doing some gameplay on my channel soon. I really haven't done any gameplay on my channel, really, not much. So I have not played Arizona Sunshine 1, and I'm ashamed to say that as a VR enthusiast.
I just played it.
Okay, cool.
Not the remake, but the original.
The original, yeah.
Because it was part of Quest Plus for a little bit, and I think it's already gone off of there. But it was there for a couple months, and so I played through it, and I have to say that it was a pretty enjoyable experience. But there weren't very many tunnels or flashlights. It was mostly out in the sunshine.
You're in the sunshine. Yeah. That helps. That definitely helps.
Yeah. So, a lot of language, though. There's a lot of I wouldn't let a kid play it.
No, not at all.
Not my kids anyway.
Don't do that.
But yeah, yep.
But yeah. So yeah, good times, man. VR is really VR mixed reality is really, really heating up. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's been crazy the last couple of months. Just all the announcements and stuff that's gone on. So So look, there's a lot to look forward to with VR. That's for sure. And I think especially in the next 6 months, it seems like there's a lot of really great stuff just right on the horizon coming out.
Yep.
So
I see what you did there, Horizon.
Horizon Worlds. I just checked out The Office.
I saw that. Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite shows of all time, and I was really, really pleased with how many little Easter eggs and nods and details they put in there. I mean, Horizon World stuff is not really super detailed a lot of times, but they stuffed in quite a few Easter eggs in there, and that was pretty cool, and a lot of little mini games in there to play. So I recommend, if you're an Office fan, I recommend checking it out. It's a pretty fun time. Other than that, I do have some kind of video coming out this week on Friday or this weekend sometime, but I have yet to decide what it is. But I have a sponsor spot that I need to do in a video, and I've got like a couple ideas. I'm just like, which one's gonna be the best, and I can't decide.
I'm overdue on that ProTube video, but I'm tweaking it, so I understand the pain. The sponsored videos are you got to figure them out.
Yeah, you got to figure them out, and you can find me right here on YouTube and over on X as well, as stated earlier. It's Bono's Gaming YT. Bono's Gaming was taken on X, so I had to add a YT on the end of it.
Did you go? YouTube. Yeah. Well, we know it's for YouTube. It's not Young Thang,
I got too much gray for that.
But did you go to whoever it is? My biggest gripe about X,
they're like inactive. It's not even
exactly. They're not even active. They just take the name and then it's like they go away. Yeah.
I was kind of annoyed, but it's okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been episode 24 of Bono's Gamers, and thanks for joining us. And Jason, thank you for joining us. Go check out his channel for sure, and he's got a lot of good content over there. But stay kind and encouraging out there, y'all, and we will catch you on the flippity flip.